Hi, I'm John Richards, Pioneer Field Agronomist in southeastern Michigan. Today I'm going to show you how to properly do a crop stand evaluation based on your crop and then your row configuration. I'm currently standing in a field of corn planted on a 30-inch row. So to make this count more manageable, we are going to take our tape measure and measure out 17 feet 5 inches because that gives us 1/1000th of an acre. As you can see, I centered placed the tape measure so that way I can get 2 counts with 1 measurement. And we're going to do this 10 times across the field. After we get our counts, we're going to get an average at the end. So say if our average count was 29.5, well, we would take 29.5 times 1,000 because we were 1/1000th of an acre, thus giving us a plant population of 29,500. Now, if our row spacing narrows, we actually need a further distance to get 1/1000th of an acre. So if we're talking about, say, 15-inch row soybeans planted with a singulated planter, that's 34 feet 10 inches. And with soybeans being planted at a higher population, we're talking some pretty high numbers to get a count. The best way would be to break that down to 1/10,000th of an acre. So to do that with a 15-inch row, we'd roughly measure 42 inches. So this would give our counts more like between 10 to 15 plants opposed to 100 to 150. So if we average 13 plants over 10 different counts, that means our plant population would be 130,000. Now, when it comes to doing a stand count on drilled beans, 7.5 inch all the way even up to 15-inch rows, I'd probably recommend the hula hoop method just because we don't have that singulation in row like we do with the planter. I would recommend making your own, making it a 28.25 inch diameter because that gives us a factor of 10,000 when it comes to the hoop method. So let's just imagine we have some soybeans in here. And with this hula hoop being 28.25 inches in diameter, like I said, our factor is 10,000. So if we counted 11 plants in there, we'd have 110,000 population. If we did this 10 different times and came up with a count of, say, 13, we'd have an overall population of 130,000. There are charts online that can show you, based on your row configuration, the distance you'd have to measure to figure out 1/1000th of an acre or even 1/10,000th of an acre. And if you're going to use the hoop method and drilled beans, there's conversion charts too if your hula hoop isn't exactly 28.25 inches in diameter. But yeah, knowing your stand's very important, especially when it comes to decisions like replant or even how to manage that crop for the rest of the growing season. So if you have any further questions on this, please contact your Pioneer representative and we'd be glad to help. Thanks and have a great day.